Hello, hello. What is going on today? In the world today, my invisible disability means commuters refuse to give up their seats. Yeah, yeah, man. People want to sit down. You want to sit down, don't you? They want to sit down too. Which one is going to give up their seat? Is there anybody who's going to give up their seat? Who's going to be a gentleman? Which one are you? Oh, oh, this kid's adopted, but what's going on? Alex, her husband, and two daughters. So that's Alex, white lady in the middle there. Damn, her husband's effeminate. To put it simply, my body doesn't like standing up. Good for you. Totally at random. Often when I rise from a chair too quickly or stand too long, I faint. It's called syncope. It's when you pass out and lose consciousness for a short period of time. For me, it's caused by autonomic dysfunction as a result of my condition. So when I rise too quickly or stand for too long. Well, how long are you on public transportation? Uh, result of my condition, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Ehlers-Danlos. It means that public transport and traveling can be hard for me. I need a seat or I can pass out with serious injury. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I recently dated a girl with this symptom or whatever, and she just can't sit still, constantly moving. This chick, it's unnerving. She's a she's a freak though. It could even be fatal, except not a lot of people seem to care at all about my invisible illness, especially not my fellow commuters and transport companies. Yeah, nobody cares. They don't know you. Who the fuck are you? People got to understand, you're a stranger in the world. Most of the people you interact with, especially when you're in the city, they don't know who the fuck you are. They don't care who you are. They got their own problems. They got their own situations. They don't care. If you want people to care about your situation, you have to be a little bit more considerate, which means you have to either be friendly to them or ask nicely or somehow build up some sort of rapport so that people want to help you. I don't know how you don't understand that. There's a lot of people that feel entitled because they have some sort of disability or some situation. They feel entitled that other people should help them. Like a lot of the things that we have in place, like disability, whatever we have in place, we have ramps and all this shit in place because we're considerate of the people that have certain situations where they need help. But what these people need to understand is that is simply people doing that out of sympathy for you. It's not something you're entitled to. You have to meet people halfway. You have to actually be nice to people, especially if they're fucking helping you. You have to actually build up rapport with strangers. You have to go out of your way to actually be nice to these people and actually talk to them in order to get them to help you. You don't just show up and be like, I have this illness that you can't see, and you should just give me your seat. Like, you're not entitled to these things. You're not entitled to sympathy. You're not entitled to people being nice to you. You actually have to earn it. You actually have to work at it. You have to actually be personable and be nice. Like, I don't understand. How do you have a problem in life and you don't find a way to overcome it? How do you have a problem and your immediate response is just to complain and be like, these people aren't helping me. This is so wrong. Like, that is weird. That is so weird. You have to meet people halfway. You just have to. For me, it's a constant battle against prejudice. Is it? Is it? Are they not giving up their seats to other people? Then why are you being prejudiced? Because you feel entitled to people helping you. These people, man. In fact, as a result, I try to avoid traveling as much as physically possible. If that was an option, do that in the first place. Be considerate to those people and don't be out there fucking complaining about you not getting a seat. My condition is genetic and I've had it since birth, but wasn't diagnosed until January 2015 at age 41. I had been getting awful migraines since the syncope started, and the day before my husband's birthday, I suddenly collapsed after one. I ended up in the hospital for a week where I was put on epilepsy medication, but I continued to have excruciating headaches and fall unconscious without explanation. Did you try to get up too quickly? Who the hell is this? Is that the same lady? Was she younger in this picture? I'm guessing that's her daughter. So those kids got older. All right. Jesus. Is she 41 in this? That's a hard 41. I was terrified as I had no idea what was happening to me. At one point, I convinced myself I had a brain tumor. You were in a hospital and you convinced yourself you had an illness instead of just asking people in a hospital. That October, I was diagnosed with EDS, a joint hypermobility syndrome. I was given autonomic tests, including a tilt table, which is used to explore potential causes of fainting. The tilt table caused me to lose consciousness within 30 seconds, with my blood pressure dropping to 50/28. All right. My life as I knew it changed forever. Now I can use this to say that people need to help me. Since then, in 8 years, the longest I've gone without fainting is 6 weeks. Wow, you suck. You're really trash. If you know you have a certain condition and you know what causes it, and yet you still can't avoid this, you'd think the fainting would be like, okay, that would be a reason to avoid, messing up. But no, she's just standing too long and getting up too quick constantly. I've had to spend my life savings on an extension to have a downstairs bedroom and bathroom built, as I have fainted on the stairs, causing injury. I don't know what you expect me to do. This is your life, lady. You have to adapt. I know it costs you money, but today I need to use disabled lows as normal ladies. Oh, lose. Okay. I guess she's British, something. Disabled lose or Australian. I don't know. As normal ladies, lose are too narrow for me to use safely. What does it being narrow have to do with, as I could faint and hit my head? Is there any warning signs before you're about to faint that could like advise you to not get up too quickly or stand too long? If your blood pressure is dropping, you would feel something, right? It should be a way for you to avoid fainting all the goddamn time, because you seem to not be avoiding it. You're just like, well, I can't be in that place because I could faint. There's nothing I can do. Faint's just gonna faint. But I look normal. Yes, so to speak, and people often feel the need to ask me why I'm using them. People. Like, how often does that fucking happen? It could be certain people that are concerned that you have no disabilities, but you're using these disabled facilities. Sure. Makes sense. Makes sense that they would ask, because certain people do that. Well, what's your problem? If I did that, they would ask me. Should I complain that people keep asking me? They don't know I live my life in a permanent risk assessment. You're not good at it. Everywhere I go and whatever I do, I am constantly assessing. Yet you keep failing. I've had to adapt my life in so many ways. The prejudice I receive from strangers because of my disability isn't visible is the hardest to endure. Really? Really? That's the hardest part. People don't know you have a disability and they keep asking you questions. That's the hardest part for you. That's probably why you keep fainting, because you're not focused on real problems. Doctors aren't sure what triggers the headaches and fainting. They're not sure. I thought you just explained what. How to treat them, but I think I might have something to, it might have something to do with my coil. Fitted just 6 months before my first episode. What the fuck is a coil? I've since had it removed, but sadly the collapsing gets worse when I'm due to my period. Yes, blood pressure. Of course it would. Just, wait till menopause. The worst of it is I can't tell when I'm about to faint either. Really? You can't tell. It's an instant process. I find that hard to believe. I find that very hard to believe. But hey, faint is gonna faint, huh? It comes on out of the blue. Because of it, I have to work from home now in my job as a street works manager. Thought you were about to say street worker, but I don't know about this lady. I find everything you're saying to me very hard to believe. You're constantly fainting. You don't see any kind of commonality between the situations where you faint. None of it. You haven't assessed the situation anyway. You just give up and you're like, well, the doctors don't know, and I haven't figured it out. I'm constantly risk assessing, but I haven't figured anything. I haven't put anything together. But the hardest part is that people don't believe me. What? You don't make any sense. I'm proud that I'm still working, though. Well, you have to. You just built a new freaking bathroom in your house. What are you going to do? Not work? And have participated in events with colleagues, raising awareness of my condition in an attempt to minimize any stigma. How do you raise awareness for this? Huh? It's an invisible illness. How is people supposed to be aware? Just not question anybody that looks perfectly fine walking using disabled facilities? Huh? What is the point of this? I know you think the hardest part is that people don't believe you, but this is your solution. This is the place where you decide to find solutions. This, instead of the constant fainting, this. All right. All right. Except attending hospital appointments, it isn't easy. Okay. Did she faint and someone took a picture? I can honestly say that living with this disability is hard, and I've had to adapt my life in so many ways. Yeah. Yeah. A few weeks ago, I had to visit a London hospital for a tilt table and heart tests. I decided on a 50-minute journey from Le Grave train station, 10 minutes from my home, direct to London Bridge, with the hospital opposite. My husband has driven me before, but it once took 4 hours thanks to traffic. But I booked a train ticket. I checked my location station, disabled accessibility, and I was shocked to find that it was only accessible by metal chairs. Of course it was. Wheelchairs, yes. They're the most dangerous form of access for me and would be life-threatening if I collapsed. You could get a wheelchair. This woman has a complete inability to find solutions to her problem. The only thing she's done so far is find out that, hey, I love complaining. And the hardest part for me is that people don't believe me. Then I thought I would try Luton Town train station, but it was an inaccessible train station for anyone with a disability to travel to London. So I had to search through all nearby stations to find an accessible one, finding Harpenden, which is 12 miles away from me and has a lift, but the nearest that I had least risk for my condition. Then just go back to the husband driving you thing. I know it took 4 hours in freaking traffic, but it's better than whatever the hell you're doing. I then went on to National Rail Card visit to apply for disabled persons rail card and was astounded to find that I didn't meet the criteria as I did not receive disability benefits. Then apply for it. Solutions. Do you commute with a disability? Have your say in the comments? No. It's almost as if they didn't believe me and wanted me to prove it. Okay, what did I miss? Eventually, for my hospital visit, I boarded the train, but since I have to be chaperoned all the time, my husband was with me. I was going to sit on the floor as the train was full, and I didn't want to start explaining about my condition in order to sit down, but luckily a kind passenger offered me a seat. Then why are you still complaining? On the second visit, I found out by looking online that I could request assistance to get a seat on the train, but when I did, the guard explained aloud to everyone on the train that I had a medical condition. Yes, he had to, in order to, because those people are going to be fucking angry. They see you sitting there and you look perfectly normal. So he had to do that. People muttered under their breath and complained. Yes, they did. And they would have done much worse if the guard didn't explain. He just found a solution to your problem where you couldn't. It was almost as if they didn't believe me and wanted me to prove it. I burst into tears. God, you're a sensible shit. By the time I arrived at my appointment, I felt exhausted, devastated, humiliated, and ashamed. It makes me loath to travel again. Should have went back to your husband driving you. It makes me want to stay at home and hide away. Probably best. You do a lot of fainting. Oh, God. She got 2 daughters now. They both look the goddamn same, and they're doing the duck lips bullshit. At least one is. I can honestly say that living with this disability is hard, and I've had to adapt my life in so many ways. I've even doubled my antidepressants to cope with the mental trauma. Now she has mental trauma. This woman is weak-minded as hell. Like, how have you survived life? I don't even know how she's going to make it through this. With this disability, it just highlighted her weak mind. People didn't believe her and they complained because they're on a fucking train and no one likes public transportation anyways. And she cried. And now she has to take antidepressants because of mental trauma. Not even the fact that she's dealing with the fact that she's going to be fainting all the time, or how these antidepressants is going to work with her illness. She's just like, I can't deal with the fact that people don't believe me. It's so hard. I don't understand how people make it through life. Our society is so goddamn safe that the worst among us, the people that shouldn't be procreating and creating more people with this same goddamn problems, they're allowed to survive. So as people, we get weaker genetically and mentally because of people like this. I choose to walk while I still can, but I want a safe, accessible, and stigma-free environment to allow my independence. Well, guess what? You're going to have to find an imaginary world because the real world is not like that for anybody. It's not like that for anybody. You don't get special treatment. The world is the world for everybody the same goddamn way. It's not fucking, it's filled with stigmas. It's not safe. Train companies do not do enough to cater for those of us with both visible and, yes, they do. Yes, they fucking do. They gave you an option. All you had to do, you already have the disability, you have doctor's notes. All you had to do was sign up for disability, and then you would get the goddamn thing that you need. And you could have got a wheelchair as well, so that you can travel with the wheelchair and no one is going to say anything because you're on the goddamn wheelchair. So you can't stand up for too long, and it'd be very safe for you, because in the wheelchair, if you faint, you'd be fine. But no, you don't think about solutions. You think about complaining, because that's all you fucking do. Even when someone's life could be at risk. So done with this. I've been humiliated and upset so many times by people's judgment. Living with this condition is hard enough without stigma and humiliation and content with. Guess what, lady? Even if you didn't have this disability, people would still judge you. People judge everyone, including you. You judge those people. I'm just done with people for right now. Until next time.